no sunlight. Well, good evening, everybody, and a very happy Mother's Day. We've been having a lovely day here at the barn, celebrating my beautiful wife, Carrie. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm going to get right to it here. We've gotten requests for every show that we've done for this next song, every single one, whether it was a request night or not. If you were watching a few weeks ago, I said that we were going to play this song every week. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be like a tradition with this one. I think it's probably one of the most special gospel songs ever written. And so this is dedicated to all of the people who have requested this song, which are maybe even a little too many to number right now. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand, 'cause I am tired and I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Just take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, Lord, it's gone. Hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall. Just take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. In the darkness it appears, and the night it draws near. When the day it is past and gone, Lord, it's gone. At the river I stand, got my feet, hold my hand, just take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Just take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Boy, that song is spectacular, written by Tommy Dorsey in the 1930s. I have kind of an eclectic mix of music to play tonight for a lot of different reasons. I was thinking about Mother's Day a lot today and all of our mothers, particularly thinking about my wife and about my mother, and how God really did something extraordinary in making moms. Even if you just break down to the physiology of it, you know, I remember when our first daughter was born, my wife was breastfeeding, and she was explaining to me about how all of that works. And I remember thinking to myself how God's fingerprint was just all over it. She was telling me that at some point when a mother is making milk, that it has the exact nutrients that the child needs. And if the child is lacking in something, it will make it. And the other one that was remarkable to me, which was very, very powerful when she was talking about that, was about how I always play a little guitar when I lose my train of thought. Just about all the different ways that that the female physiology just fills in all of the blanks. Like, for instance, if how does it work? The child will get all of the nutrients it needs. The mother will make up for that. So your body, if it's not taking in enough nutrient, it will make sure that it gets the child will get everything first, and the mother will get it second. And isn't that just kind of how it goes throughout life? You know, the mother is always doing that, filling in all of the blanks, all of the holes, and making everything whole all the time. I'm so thankful to my wife for doing that in so many special ways, so many that I can't even count. And so I'm just going to have a few reflections tonight about motherhood, my impression of that from my point of view, I guess. The first experience that I ever had singing, my mom taught me how to sing, you know, and she just sang my whole childhood. She sang in church. She was our folk group leader at the church we went to, and she, at the time it was called the folk group. This is the, you know, these were all the leftover flower children. Now we were in the 80s, and they were still with the tambourines and 19 12-string guitars, and that was the vibe in the church that we went to, and it was wonderful. What a great way to grow up. I would hear this music being played all the time. And, you know, your mom kind of does that. She paints the first arrow on the ground in front of you, you know, the first arrow that you decide to walk. And for me and for my mom, it was that she gave me music, going back to my earliest memories. So there I am in listening to my mom rehearse with our choir, and I'm 4 years old. And, you know, I would routinely be like sat in the corner with a coloring book or something like that. Okay, we're going to rehearse now, Chris. You just sit here. But I was never really one for the coloring book, so I would just be listening to the music and, unbeknownst to my mom, learning it by osmosis. It's just there, you know. So this one particular Sunday, I'm 4 years old. We went to a very big church, large congregation. And in that church, it was an old-style church, so the choir loft was in the back of the church, which I still think is kind of a wonderful thing. I wish they'd kind of go back to that. I loved that it was behind you so that you were looking forward at God. But anyway, so there we are in the choir loft. The choir starts to belt out this next song, and I start to belt it out right along with them. But at some point, the people in the choir start to see that I'm singing at 4 years old as loud as I can to the top of my lungs. And the way the story goes, as it was kind of told back to me, I remember bits and pieces of it, but it was that one by one the members of the choir stopped singing, and the only voice left in the church was mine. And I sang every verse to this next song, as my mom said, in perfect tune. And when I finished, the entire congregation of the church stood up and turned around and clapped for me. And my mom says that I turned to her at that moment and I said, "They liked me. They really liked me." Now that is it's an interesting anecdotal story, but more than that, I think back, and in my life, that could be considered one of the absolute foundational moments. You know, a slab of concrete on the foundation of what would become my life. Because I don't think there's a moment after that that wasn't influenced by that moment, if that makes sense. I'm still singing to the top of my lungs. I'm still singing this next song, the very song that I sang that day. And I'm so grateful for the connections to it. The first one being my mom, pointing that arrow in front of me. And that arrow was made of music, and the arrow was pointing toward God. And what a great thing to be able to point to as your foundation. So I sing this song right now to celebrate everybody's foundational moment with God, but particularly to celebrate my mom for painting that arrow, because I'm so grateful for that. And I don't think there's a better song out there to celebrate our relationship with God. So here goes. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the earth thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, I find myself more often than not being sort of stunned when I finish that song. Every word in that song is about as close to perfection as you could get with regard to celebrating God and our relationship to Him. Man, I remember, I think I mentioned this at a previous Songs of Faith, that I remember when I grew up, I went to Catholic school, and I remember the nuns telling me, they told me a lot of things, but one of them was that when you sing to God, it's like praying twice. I always, man, that stuck with me. I always thought that I would always be doubly effective. It's funny. So many great mothers out there. I am so blessed. My particular fan base and the people who come to my shows, there's a lot of great moms in that group, and I feel like so often I kind of benefit from their wisdom and your love and affection, and I'm so grateful to you. So all the moms that come to my shows and share a little bit of that motherly love with me, I just want to tell you how much that means to me. Your notes and your messages and all of the things that you say to help support this, support it with love and with prayer, with donations. I mean, you guys have just been so generous, and I feel that words fail me quite often. Maybe I should just keep singing, because that's probably the best way to go here. I'm going to sing a song here that is not, it's not a faith-driven or gospel song. But since we're celebrating Mother's Day today, I have to celebrate my wife, who is, I don't even know what to say. I kind of thought, I was trying to prepare some words here beforehand, but she just knocks me out. She's back there behind all of these cameras right now, just furiously and frantically switching things and doing things that probably a few months ago she never thought that she would do, that she would want to do, that she would have to do. And she's doing them so capably and admirably. And in addition to homeschooling our children, which we do anyway, even before this, we've always homeschooled our two girls. So she always just did that beautifully. And it isn't easy being married to a musician, even one as lovable as me. I'm a difficult person. I have wide mood swings, and she loves me through all of them. And occasionally we'll have these request nights, and she'll request songs, and I won't play them because so many of you are requesting. I'm like, well, but this person wrote, and they had this really heartfelt story, and so sometimes, like the other day, she gave me the list of the songs that were requested, and in kind of double print, it said this next song was on there, and right after that, I'll say who requested it, and it just said your wife with all exclamation points. So since she doesn't get to hear a lot of the songs that she wants during the show, I'm gonna play this one for her right now, even though it's not a gospel tune. But I don't know. I think we can find God in all of these beautiful things. and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. He will be like she and me, as free as a dove, conceived in love. The sun is gonna shine above. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything. Bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Seems as though a month ago I was paid a kite, never got high. Ooh, I was a sorry guy. Now I smile and face the girl that shares my name, and yeah, now I'm through with the game. This boy will never be the same. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything. Bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Pisces, Virgo rising is a very good sign. Strong and kind, and the little boy is mine. Now I find a family where there once was none. Now we just begun. Yeah, we're gonna fly to the sun. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything. Bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Love the girl who holds the world in a paper cup. Drink it up. Love her and she'll bring you love. And if you find she helps your mind, better take her home. Don't you live alone. Try to earn what lovers own. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything. Bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. I love you, baby. If she had a microphone on, you would have heard, I love you too. So that's the argument in our home right now, is I desperately want Carrie to come on camera and she won't do it. If you look at all the photo albums of our life together, it's me and somebody else, and Carrie's behind the camera. You might see a hand in there. You might see, in fact, for all of these shows, the only time she's made an appearance was her hand moving a microphone stand in front of the kids. She just prefers that space, and I'll give that to her. Can't have two of these in the family, but I'm trying to encourage her to at least have a microphone back in the production booth there, so that we can conversate during these shows, because she says really good stuff. I also broke a nail during that song, so hopefully that won't affect my playing too much. this next song, I think, is a wonderful blend of a God story and a mom experience. The first time I heard this song, it was by one of my favorite bands. It was on their first album, and I fell in love with one of their other songs, so I bought the album. It's the only song I knew, and I was listening to it over and over and over again. The band was Nickel Creek, and the song is When You Come Back Down. I would just listen to it over and over and over again. And the first time I let the CD play out, this next song came on. It's called The Hand Song. If you've seen a lot of my shows, you might have run into this one with me before. And I have these moments with God occasionally, and maybe you do too, where it feels like he fired an arrow right into me. And I just weep. And maybe it's because I'm a musician, or maybe it's because I'm sappy, or there's a whole bunch of reasons we could list them maybe. But I always feel like it's him kind of allowing a particular floodgate to open. I heard this song, and that floodgate opened. And I'm thankful I was in the car, because when I get to that place, it's ugly. It's not handsome, wouldn't you say? You've witnessed it a couple of times. It's not my best look. So there I was, weeping in the car. So I'm going to play this one for you now.
She could see were some thorns buried deep, and tears that he cried as she tended his wounds. And she knew it was love. It was one she could understand. He was showing his love, and that's how he heard his hands. He still remembers that night as a child on his mother's knee. She held him close and she opened her Bible, quietly started to read, and seeing a picture of Jesus, he cried out, "Mama, he's got some scars just like me." And he knew it was love. It was one he could understand. He was showing his love, and that's how he heard his hands. Now the boy's gone and moved out on his own. When Uncle Sam comes along, a foreign affair, but our young men were there, and look at his number drawn. It wasn't that long till our hero was gone. He gave to a friend what he learned from the cross.
It's a short one, but man, it packs a punch. You know, all those moments with your mom when you're growing up, when you're a little kid, none of them are really throwaways. You know, they're all something. There's something in them. Sometimes it's just a touch or a hug or a look. Because I can't tell you how many times I reflect on that from my own childhood. Even just throughout every day or as the week is going on, you know. And, you know, some of it good, some of it bad. I remember my mom has a look to this day which will just stop me dead in my tracks and shut me right up. And she had this way of jetting out her chin, right? She does. It's brilliant. Mom, I know you're watching tonight. And it's a little squint of the eyes and a little jet of the chin. And it goes something like this. That's it. It would strike fear in me as a child. Because I knew, So right now, you're talking about how your mom has a similar look. They all do. It's like a magic power. It's like God's lining them up, and he's like, all right, give that one the chin and the eye thing. I love you, Ma. I hope everybody's doing well. You know, I know we've had a couple of moments that you know, we had to celebrate Easter Sunday under quarantine. What a weird thing. You know, we weren't able to celebrate at our churches, and we weren't able to celebrate with the people that we love. But hopefully we're all able to find some time with the Lord. My wife and I were given a beautiful devotional recently. And devotionals aren't really my thing. I have a very conversational relationship with the Lord. So I don't, you know, spend a lot of time with my reading glasses on it, study about it. I spend a lot of time just talking to him. I'm dyslexic, so that's one of the reasons why I never really got that great, you know, habit of really digging into all of these things. But my wife, every time she reads something amazing, she shares it with me, and then I read it. And this book was given to us by a friend of ours. Our friends Don and Maureen gave us this amazing book called My Utmost for His Highest. And I couldn't recommend this more, and I hold no financial stake in saying that. It was written probably, I think, like 100 years ago, right? It's really, really old. And it's just absolutely brilliant and has so many wonderful perspectives. But my wife and I were reflecting on this time that we're in, this crazy, crazy time where everything seems uncertain. And we were talking about the concept of gracious uncertainty. And that is what we get from God. And to dig into that a little bit was the idea, see, I'm a musician, so my life is always uncertain. I never knew where the next paycheck was coming from. Now it's even weirder, you know. And so I think it might have been a little bit easier for me than maybe some who are used to following a very carefully outlined set of rules. I think maybe it was easier for me to kind of surrender my life to God in that sense, because I was kind of okay with that, with the chaos of not knowing. But it's not really chaos. It's just worldly or earthly uncertainty. Because one thing that we can always be certain in is God. And if we give our lives to Him, then we're just waiting to be led. And there's no reason to let uncertainty drive us to anxiety or worry. So this time is no different, in my opinion. We are here together. I'm looking right at you. And so I love that phrase, gracious uncertainty. Yep, it's uncertain. These times I've never felt anything quite like this. But it's been a really remarkable opportunity to reframe my relationship with God, and I hope for you as well. So, yeah, there's my bit. I'm going to sing this next song for just for all the moms, because this song, I think this song talks about your place of safety. And, the first safe place we ever feel safe. That sounded stupid. The first place we ever feel safe. See, this line would have been so cool if I just didn't screw it up. The first place we ever feel safe is in our mother's arms. And that's what teaches us how to feel safe in our Father's arms. We understand it because of our mothers. And so this song is for all the moms out there. Special dedication. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Times get rough, and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Whoa, darkness comes, and pain is all. It's all around, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. And sail on, silver girl. Sail on by. Your time has come.
troubled water. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind. I will ease your mind.
Man, Paul Simon knew what he was doing when he wrote that one. You know, I've heard Paul say this in interviews. People always ask him about Bridge Over Troubled Water. And he said, you write a lot. He was very prolific, wrote a lot of songs. And he said, the night he wrote that one, he said it just came to him that he said, that's better than I usually do. What an interesting thing for someone so great to say, that one's a little bit better than usual. And he said he knew that one came from a different place. He said it was just there. And what a special thing. I want to dedicate a song now to someone who I can say with absolute certainty changed my life. And started me on a path that I didn't know that I would be on. So I'll tell you a little bit of the story here. There was a person that I knew, a girl in high school. And she was lovely. And the thing I knew about that, but we never spoke in high school. We weren't friends or anything like that. Occasionally we'd pass in the hall. And I remembered exactly what she looked like. And my memory of her was that she just had like the best smile. She had a smile that just exuded joy from her eyes and from her face. I mean, she just, when somebody smiles, when they're smiling. And she had that. So that was, we all have those little Post-it notes in our brain that are attached to different people. And that was the Post-it note that was attached to Teresa for me. Smile. And so at some point, Teresa and her husband started coming to my shows. And we got friendly shared, some Facebook likes and things like that. And then one day, Pete and Teresa had tickets for one of my shows, and she wasn't there. And so I had this moment where I felt, I get these, like I said, these arrows from God, and I had one of those arrows kind of hit me, and it said, you should reach out to Pete, even though we weren't the kind of friends at that point that would text each other or even have each other's phone number or anything like that. But it said you should reach out to Pete and ask about Teresa. So I did, and I texted him, and he told me very quickly and very sort of boldly, and I now know that they had been dealing this for a long time, that she was dying, and I didn't even really know how to process it. But, you do that thing that you do when anybody tells you something that's a lot. You say, if there's anything I can do, and you kind of file that away. But I'm a singer. I always had this impression of myself that, like, in a real crisis, who's more useless than the singer? You want you want somebody else, probably. So that's kind of always how I looked at myself. And at some point, Pete reached out to me and asked if I would sing for Teresa because she really liked my music, come to the hospital and sing for her. And so I did, and it was this very small thing, on my part. And I was just overwhelmed at how Teresa made me feel for just coming and doing this thing that I thought was just, I always thought that what I did was a throwaway, you know. And so when she passed, I got to sing for her one more time before she passed. And boy, she was just remarkable. Her strength and the whole family just blew me away. How they dealt with this so beautifully. And I watched the love between Pete and Teresa. And I wrote a song, sort of from Pete's perspective, for Teresa when I saw the way that he loved her through that. And by all accounts and every story that I've heard and everything I've seen about Teresa, she was like the best mom. So this is dedicated to her. This song is called Teresa's Song. And dedicated to Pete and the rest of the family, to Harry, her dad, and Chris, her brother, and the whole family.
Tearing through the days, wandering through the ways, I love her. Blinded by her smile that tells a story all the while she is waking. Torn up sheets of time, I clutch them hard, but every sigh keeps them blowing. Northward toward the sun, just dancing one by one by one. And something beautiful this way comes, and something sad that way goes, and something sad this way comes, and something beautiful that way goes. It used to be the air was just a breeze blown through your hair every morning. A laugh lit up the day, leaving the night no other way but to go. And each and every choice is just a choir of angry voices singing softly. My head knows every part and sings them one by one by one. And something beautiful this way comes, and something sad that way goes, and something sad this way comes, and something beautiful that way goes, that way goes, this way comes, that way goes. Tearing through the days, just wandering through the ways, I love her. The echo of a smile that told a story all the while she was waking. Now I hit the floor a little different than before, but I can feel you. The echo of our days. Just take them one by one by one. Something beautiful this way comes, and something sad that way goes. But don't worry, something sad this way comes, and something beautiful that way goes.
So that was called Teresa's song. So that moment and that experience with Teresa and Pete and the family was one of the instrumental factors in us putting together a nonprofit, which we call One Hallelujah. And in that this nonprofit entity that we just started, it's about bringing music to people who are suffering, where people are in, they might be in palliative care like Teresa was. They might be people who are shut in, people who need it, music therapy for various reasons. And so we just started this, and that's kind of one of our new missions. And the part of that company now, that nonprofit that deals with music for people like that, it's called Teresa's Song, named after Teresa. And she and the family have blessed our lives for the rest of our lives. And we're so grateful for that inspiration and that connection and being part of their story. If you'd like to support what we're doing, this show, my hope is that it keeps going beyond where we are right now. And we go back to that gracious uncertainty. When this all happened, I just said, God, you're going to have to lead me because I don't have a job anymore. My whole life is singing to people. And I don't know how to do that right now. And we had a few cameras and some lights, and we were able to turn this place into a place where we could kind of put this show together. And then I said, well, if we're going to put a show together, let's put a show together. Let's have it be something a little bit different. And maybe it's something that can survive and come out the other end of this quarantine time. So if this is something that you'd like to support, if you're enjoying these evenings, we are so grateful for your support. If you'd like to donate, you can go to my website, which is www.chriswilson.us. And there's a donate button right there on the home page. You can donate through PayPal, and we're so grateful for that support. It really means everything right now and hopefully beyond, so that we can make this show something that lasts. But also, if you'd like to just make a donation by mail, if you're not comfortable with the internet, making a donation that way, there's an address right there. So maybe I should finish out with something else, something to finish off with. Any thoughts, my darling? You know what I'm going to sing? I'm going to sing the Lord's Prayer. We've all walked with the Lord's Prayer our whole life. If we're Christians, if we're believers in Christ, there's a good chance that we've known that our whole lives, and it's been something that we've kind of walked around with our whole lives. And it's really easy when you have something that in your life for that long, you kind of take it for granted. That's the story of a mother, right? It's just being taken for granted, and they shouldn't be. But man, it happens. And I've taken this prayer for granted a number of times in my life. And every time I revisit it, I realize how spectacular it is. And I think it's a lovely way to end the evening in my prayer for all of you out there. And our prayer to celebrate our Father in heaven. So, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play it on this guitar. And let you know that this guitar was loaned to me by my friend Dave Stutzman. Can we get a shot of this guitar a little bit better? Over at Stutzman's Guitar Center, as you can see, this beautiful Huss and Dalton guitar that he has for sale. We're all trying to link up arms right now and do what we can for each other. Dave has been gracious enough to loan me some beautiful instruments to play, and I would highly recommend that if you're in need of instrument repair or if you're in need of a great guitar, go give Dave a call. He's got some amazing instruments. I can't think of a finer family to do business with. They are the kind of people, if you were going to search out the kind of people that you would want to do business, if you were to create them, these are those people. So I feel like we're all kind of family. All of us are kind of trying to navigate this time together. So if you have a chance to do that, please give Dave a call and support a local family business. It's been there, I think, since the 50s. So it's the kind of thing that we really want to keep around through these times. All right.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy most holy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us all from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory
So once again, I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy Mother's Day. Tell you that I love you, and please join us on Wednesday for our song or for our live by request night. Keep the requests coming in. We've been getting so many, but I just love it. I love your personal stories and all of the things that you've been sharing with me. It is my absolute aim to be a good steward of those warm wishes and support. And yeah. So have a lovely Sunday evening, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. God bless.